Good evening, my family. So it is Monday, May the 13th, I think it is. Yeah. So it's Monday, May the 13th, and it is kitchen time today. It has been hot. My hair is kind of wet, y'all, so. But I'll show you what we've been up to so far. We had a neighbor, and I will tell you this, y'all, be careful for people who know the things that you can do. I'm learning. I was blessed with peaches, but with that peaches came I need you to do this for me. And it's one of them situations, if I'd known then what I know now, I probably wouldn't have done it. But it is what it is, so we're going to do what we do. So we were given peaches. Now I'm in the process of freezing some of these, and I made us some peach cobbler using fresh milled flour and sugar substitute, and I did the task that was asked of me for them, and I will deliver that tomorrow, and I will show you what this stuff looks like right quick. So there's our yummy peach cobbler, and y'all, with freshly milled flour, this is the bomb. And I'm going to show you the other thing. Now, next one isn't ours per se. Well, no, it's not ours, period. But it was the request to be able to get these peaches. So, and I did it. So I'll show you what we did. And this would be peach jam. So there are 7 jelly jars of peach jam. Now, I normally would not have any issues with somebody that would want something out of giving a gift. Honestly, I wouldn't. However, this one is costing me pretty big because this is our lids that I'm using. These are our jars that I'm using, and I don't know if I'm going to get them back. And the materials, except for the peaches, everything is coming from us. So that kind of hurt a little bit. But this is also the same person that has kind of sort of manipulated me into, oh, if you cared about your neighbor's thing, you'd bake us a loaf of bread. Well, this isn't 2020 anymore, so yeah, just be careful about the people who know the things that you can do, because they can tend to use you in the kindest of ways. But anyways, I did the job, and it is what it is, and may God bless them and me and help me with my heart on this one. In the meantime, y'all, we have not been in the kitchen together in quite some time, so we are going to do that. What is on our menu? Well, instead of writing all these recipes down, I will include a link for you to be able to get to them. But one is a garlic parmesan crusted crappies. We are having a broccoli casserole, and ooh, my favorite. And y'all, I'm doing this again. I am absolutely going to be canning green tomatoes and dilling them. These dill tomatoes, turning them into fried green tomatoes is the ultimate bomb. So we have 15 jars left. We had fried green tomatoes all winter long, and we absolutely loved it, especially with homemade ranch. So we're going to be doing that today too. So without further ado, let's go in the kitchen. Okay, my family, so we are working on broccoli casserole first. So we are going to grease an 8x8 or 9x9 inch pan. This is kind of close to it for me. It's a small one, so we're going to use this. I'm just going to take it and I'm going to brush olive oil on mine because I don't have any spray. It's just to keep it from sticking at the bottom and the sides anyways. So we're just going to lightly brush this all over. I do not use pre-shredded cheese, and I will encourage you to, if you use any cheese, to please buy them by the blocks and grate it yourself. It is a whole lot better for you to do that, even if it's time consuming. And I am trying a method right now. If it works, I will be doing a bulk order from Azure on cheese, and I will be freezing ours because I noticed cheese at the stores were starting to go down in price. I kind of took advantage of it, grated some, froze it, and we're going to see how we like it that way. We do have an Azure haul coming in tomorrow, and I cannot wait for that one because I have a case of butter. We are out of ghee, and this couldn't have come at the right moment, so we have some ghee to do tomorrow. Alright, so we have our dish already greased, so now we're going to start. I have about it calls, let's see, this recipe calls for preheated, basically, package of broccoli florets, a 14 to 16 ounce. This is close to that. It's not exactly spot on, but it'll work. So, and I took the bigger chunks and cut them down for us. You want to strain it after you heat it and make sure it is defrosted. Make sure you removed all the liquids from it and cut down the large pieces into smaller cuts, just like I'm doing here. And it's kind of warm at this point, but I'm just cutting down these big pieces in here. Whew, that's hot, y'all. That's hot. Okay, so our next step is now I'm going to be changing this recipe up a little bit, but I will give you the original. Now, in a bowl in here, we're going to combine our broccoli. We're going to add half a cup of cheddar cheese, half a cup-ish of cheddar cheese. That's about a half a cup. We need a 10.5 ounce, I think that's what this is, can of cream of mushroom soup. And we need the whole thing. Okie doke. And I need a 1/4 cup of milk. I'm going to add that. Need about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt, which is basically a pinch of salt. I'm using Himalayan sea salt. I need 1 lightly beaten egg, farm fresh egg at that. And I need to mix this all together. And once we get this mixed together very well, we're going to add this to our pan. Now here's where I'm going to change it. I have a couple methods I can choose to do with this. Now this calls originally for a cracker crumb using 1 sleeve of, let's see here, hang on a second. They're using 1.5 cups of Ritz or Keebler Club crackers, or half and half, approximately 1-inch sleeve of crackers. And then it calls for a 1/4 cup, which is 4 tablespoons of butter. Now I can choose at this point to use, because crackers like that will not work for my husband, and we tried to do no more processed, and I don't have crackers made with fresh milled yet. So I can choose to use my homemade fresh milled breadcrumbs from the bread that I had made and use that for my topper, or I am going to actually add a little bit of flavor to this, and I am going to eliminate the butter, but I'm going to put the topping of French fried onions on top. So that's going to be my topping in this. I'm going to spread this out. Now I'm going to save the rest of that cheese because I'm going to be adding it to my toppings after the fact. So we'll be right back, and I am going to get the Oh, y'all, I forgot the mayonnaise in here because it was a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise inside of here as well. And that should have been in the bowl. So I'm going to go ahead right quick and add a 1/4 cup of mayonnaise, mix this up, and we'll be right back. Okay, y'all, so I am actually going to go half and half. I am going to do a little bit of my breadcrumbs, and I'm using 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter and about a 1/2 cup of my breadcrumbs. But please know that these breadcrumbs are fresh milled. This is not store-bought kind. I'm just going to mix this up in my butter and make it for my topping instead of crackers. Okay, now I'm just going to go ahead and sprinkle this on the top all over my casserole. And then I'm going to top it with that, with the French fried onions as well. Okay. That takes care of my breadcrumbs. Now let's do our French fried onions. This will be really nice with our fish. Now I'm going to take and just crumble this just a little bit around here. I'm not using a whole lot of them. Just a little bit for that crunch and that flavor. And that's it, right there. So now we're going to pop this in the 350-degree oven, preset. And it's going to cook for about 45-50 minutes until it's bubbly and crumbs on the top is lightly golden brown. And at that point, we're going to go and work on something else while this goes in the oven. When it gets closer to the end of cooking this is when I'm going to top it with the rest of my cheddar cheese. And, ooh, that's going to be so good. So let's get this in the oven. And we're going to move on to our fish. And we'll be right back. Alright, y'all, so change of plans. When I do that, it is usually for a good reason. It's what I call choosing my battles wisely. So, I had originally on my menu, we have our fried green tomatoes, we have our broccoli casserole, and then we have the garlic parmesan crusted crappie. However, back to choosing my battles wisely, I'm also dealing with a diabetic husband, and too much of a good thing could be a problem. So, I have breading already, fresh milled. Although he can eat it, too much of a good thing can destroy it. So, we have breading going on our tomatoes, and we have a little bit of breading on our broccoli. So, I'm going to eliminate the breading into the fish. We're just going to bake that with a nice Mediterranean seasoning and some lemon on top. So I'm going to put that aside, do the fish last because that will not take us long. And we're going to go on to doing our tomatoes and show you how we make the most amazing fried green tomatoes from this jar that has been pickled, y'all. It is so good. Hubby even loves it. This is like, well, y'all, this is seriously addicting to us. So this is my new craving besides cigarettes. I love these tomatoes. Let's get started. Okay, y'all, so what we're going to fry this in is actually olive oil, but a cheap grade of olive oil. I'm not going to use my best grades of olive oil to fry in. So we're just going to be using just enough to make a layer. I'm not deep frying it completely per se. So we're going to go ahead and get this started to heat up. Once we get that heated up, we're going to start our breading mix, and I'll show you how this is going to work. Okay, y'all, so I'm going to show you the trick to getting some really nice, whether it's canned like this or whether it's fresh, really nice, crispy dilled or fried green tomatoes. We are using the canned, and I do believe that we will be definitely doing this again. We both agreed that this was awesome, and then to be able to have this anytime we wanted all winter long was really cool. So I'm going to remove my tomatoes from our brine. Again, this was pickled, but it just leaves, there's an undescribable flavor to this that is out of this world. So what I am doing is removing this, and we are drying off our tomatoes. Now this recipe can go with or without the dills. You can use regular fried or green tomatoes as well. I've used this recipe for both, and they work amazing. So not just for the dill, y'all. This is basically, it was the original recipe for just regular green tomatoes. Now I have that on my paper towel, and I'm going to dampen them off because I want to dry these out just a little bit, because we want our ingredients to adhere to them. So we're just going to go ahead, lay this on here, dry this up a bit. Now once we get this dry, we'll be right back to give you their 3 steps from our buttermilk, our flour, and our breading before it goes into the oil. Okay, the milk side. We need 1/4 cup of buttermilk and 1 egg mixtured. I'm using, again, farm fresh egg. We're going to whisk this together really good, and we are going to blend it. It will become rather thick when you do this, but we want it that way. Alright, there's our, it's kind of fluffy, y'all. But this is what we want. It makes a good stick to our stuff. So, we got that one. Next on to our flour bases. Okay, y'all, so this I have, when I do my milling and my flour, I have extra, so I've been sticking it in my freezer. So this is a mixture of hard red and white wheat flour, and I'm using a 1/3 cup of flour. And it calls for a 1/4 cup of corn or cornmeal. We are not using cornmeal. We found that it doesn't matter if we used it or not, it still works. But I am going to add some garlic powder instead to this, just for a little extra flavor. And then we're going to be adding some salt and pepper and season it with this, about a 1/4 teaspoon and a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. So now we're going to mix this up all together, and then all I'm going to do is just use my home milled breadcrumbs for the final, and we're going to need about a 1/4 cup of those. So, and now we're going to put this together and show you how we are going to make the crispiest fried green tomatoes you would probably ever seen. One of the key tricks to this is we are going to need a rack, and we're going to have to put this on something so where the oil goes to the bottom of that rack and not sit on our tomatoes. Okay, y'all, so we have our now dried up, or not completely dry, but you know what I mean. We took the extra liquid off so everything will adhere to our tomatoes. So we just, first, we put them into our flour mix. Shake it off a little bit. Go into our buttermilk. Coat that really good. Drip off the edges. And then into our breading mix. Coat this up really good. And you can use panko breadcrumbs. You can use whatever breadcrumbs you wish. Now, we got that good and coated. We're going to lay that into our hot oil. And again in the process, whoops, wrong one. Flour first. Then our buttermilk mix, and then our breadcrumbs. Then our buttermilk. And then our breadcrumbs. I try not to get my fingers all up in this, y'all. Keep them just as clean as I possibly can. It's not always going to work that way, but it does sometimes. And then we're going to continue this, and once these go and get fried up, we will show you what to do next. Right now we're letting this get golden brown on one side, and then we are going to flip them. This is really a really simple, quick recipe, but my goodness, it's like old-fashioned fried green tomatoes, but with a kick for us because we are using dilled. And when I first heard about this, I kind of thought it was a crazy idea till we tried it, and man, we've been hooked on this ever since. So it's a decision that I'm just glad we had enough to get us through the winter, because like I said, this became an addiction to us. Seriously, y'all. Alright, so there's another one. Get that in here, and then we'll be right back because we're going to finish the rest of these up. Alright, y'all. Kind of bring you up a little bit closer. Before you turn these, you want to make sure that they're nice golden brown on the bottom, and then flip them over. Just like so. Let's see, this one here, not quite done, so we're going to leave that just for a few minutes. Flip these over. These are almost done, actually. But it's as easy as that, y'all. And one jar, which is 1 pint jar, is enough for me and hubby. Yeah, we don't know our limit when it comes to these, though. Honestly, we don't. But it's okay. We've kind of got the South meat and healthy choices, and so it doesn't bother me so much. Now, here's where it becomes different. Now, most people would put these on a paper towel. I do not. I will leave these sitting on a rack. They will drip dry the grease to the bottom of the pan, and it will keep that crust on here a little bit more crispy than it's sitting on paper. Just like so. And that is one of the differences that I have done, that I've seen makes a difference and matters. So, and you see, it is super crispy on those. I mean, there. Let me see if I can bring this up to you and show you. Look, y'all. Look how beautiful breaded that is. And I would pick it up, but it's going to be like, oh, yes. It's super hot, though. Ooh. So, we're going to get the rest of these done, and we'll be back. Okay, y'all, so our broccoli casserole is looking amazing, and it's getting golden brown. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and finish the rest of our cheese topping. And then we're going to put it back in the oven and let it finish do its thing. Y'all, it smells so good. And then back in the oven it goes. In the meantime, we're going to pull out the rest of our tomatoes, and then we're going to start our fish. So time to turn this off. Pull our green tomatoes out of the frying pan. Get this off the eye, and we will be right back. Okay, y'all, so now this is going to be our fish. Now, again, this would have been really amazing with the garlic parmesan encrusted topping. However, like I said, I have to choose my battles wisely. So I'm choosing to do it this way. Now, these are fresh caught crappie, y'all. So, and next time if I get that opportunity and get blessed like this, and we get crappie again, I will do the different sides and all that so that I can try that recipe. But what I've done now is I have dried off my fillets, because we have small pieces of fillet, and we're going to line this pan, which has got olive oil in it, at the bottom of our pan. And then we are going to sprinkle Greek's Mediterranean seasoning. Now I got that seasoning over at Walmart. Here lately ours doesn't have it, so I am going to read the container that I have and see if I can recreate this, because it does have some amazing flavor. And 9 times out of 10 we can recreate flavors into dishes, or seasonings actually I should say. So okay, hang on a second here. Now I'm gonna go ahead and drizzle olive oil on top of this. And yes, y'all, I will be cleaning my cutting board. You can bet on that. I'm drizzling this, and now I'm going to take my Greek seasoning and we're going to sprinkle this all over the top of our fish. We both love the flavor to this. It's got a kind of a lemony flavor. The Greek oreganos, it's just, and all around it's got a good heat, but not too spicy either. So I will, like I said, I'm going to find out what I can do. It's a lemon garlic Mediterranean blend. Greeks is the name of it. So now I'm just going to take a lemon and I'm going to slice some lemons on top of this. And since the broccoli is already just about cooked, we're going to lay this in the oven with that to finish it off. And then we will be ready to plate as soon as this is done. The oven that goes, and we'll be right back. It's hot, y'all. So, you may be wondering why I'm going through an entire meal with you instead of just portions. Like some people will show one dish and that's the end of it. Well, that's the problem I would have. And a lot of times in this Mediterranean especially, I will see an amazing dish, but there's a thought that goes to my head is, what do I serve with that? So I vowed to try to do the best I can to give you ideas, basically, by creating sides for our dinners that you can maybe put in a blog or category, whatever you want to do. Write down the recipe and keep it later. These are ideas and something you might be thinking, hey, well, I'm having this. Wait a minute, I remember Parton's Heritage Homestead showed a side dish that would go great with this. That's my goal. So the videos will be slightly long because I'm doing an entire meal just to give you ideas of what you can do for various other recipes. And it makes it easier on you because I've had those questions. What do I fix with this? So we're almost done, y'all. Supper's done. Let's serve it. Okay, y'all. So we have our crappie that has been baked with lemon and Greek Mediterranean blend. We have our broccoli casserole, and then our fried, look how beautiful, y'all, fried green tomatoes. And then we serve it with dipping. We share this with our ranch dressing. And that, y'all, is supper for tonight. That is healthier version using healthier choices of grains, which fresh milled. We're using a nice fresh caught fish, and then we're using our broccoli choices, finding different ways to be able to use our vegetables. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will put the recipes in the description box below. as in links, because there are various recipes to be giving you for this. So I hope you enjoyed this segment with us. This is the Parton's Heritage Homestead Monday version of Cooking in Our Kitchen. So this is Carrie, and we will see you all tomorrow for Tea Coffee Time Tuesday. I love you all. I hope you enjoyed this, and until next time, much love from Parton's Heritage Homestead.